What's up, everybody? It's K Mega 405 coming from you live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers. Now, um, before I get started, I do want to say this. For the last couple of days here, I've been really under the weather. It started, I believe, Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, but regardless, um, went out, went to the store, went to Sam's, did some other good couple other things, and uh, you know, started feeling a little bit different. Whether by the time I did GRG Friday, I was feeling horrible, but of course the show must go on. But after the show, I checked my temperature and it was at 100, and so that kind of got me a little nervous. Of course, it's because of the pandemic and everything that's going on. But long story short, it's one of those things where I'm seeing people protesting and wanting people to go, get back to work as soon as possible. And I know we've been home for about 5, 6 weeks, but uh, in reality, I mean, we haven't had enough testing. We don't know how many people have this type of stuff. And even right now, as I'm looking and I'm feeling better, the point of the matter is that we're still a long way from getting things back to normal. And trying to force people to get back to going to work because of the economy and things like that. Listen, health, you can't work if your health is not right. So, um, people just be safe and be aware because right now, just me going through it and dealing with this, and I'm not, I'm pretty confident I don't have COVID, but it's just a thing that it scared the hell out of me at first because when my temperature went up and in the way that I was feeling and feeling like, oh, I was maybe having some of those issues. The point of the matter is that I just went out one time and then I just so happened to just catch something and you know what I'm saying, just a and it just a bug, and it's crazy. So be safe out there. Be safe. Definitely be safe out there. So I do feel a little bit better. Um, haven't been gaming for the last couple of days. Final Fantasy VII Remake was the last time I played, which was, I think, what was it, Thursday? Yeah. So plan on trying to get back to doing some gaming tonight or later on this evening or whatever. But anyway, let's get back to my point of the point of the reason why I'm making this video. And that is this right here. I know you see this on the side. It says Sony may scrap original PlayStation 5 console price and release date plans, reveal plans. Now, Pred made a really good point on next podcast last night, which was basically talking about when Microsoft was having all of these rumors that was going around. Um, Microsoft was being quiet. Nobody wasn't saying, and then over time it festered. It became its own entity because Microsoft wouldn't say anything. I look at this same situation with Sony. Sony isn't saying anything. They're not coming back and they're not rebuking anything. They're just basically saying nothing. And it's festering into its own entity. Even though there's people that don't want to talk about it, they over here want to try to downplay it. The fact of it is that where there's smoke, there's fire. It's quite similar, and and if you also look at the point, Sony was real quick to debunk the whole Amazon, PlayStation exclusives all going to PC. Uh, Real soon, they debunked that like the same day. Excuse me. But when you look at the situation with this, there ain't been no feedback. There has been nothing. They kind of want it to go away because the people in their circles don't want to talk about it because it's not something that is worth talking about in their eyes. But as a gamer, it should be discussed because there hasn't been anything to debunk it. Um, Obviously, we know if you read the Bloomberg report that there was these issues of heating, overheating. There's been also the issues of buying components because there's been a shortage, and there's also been talk about the design of the box and that there's been disagreements about that as well. So if you look at this and then you look at what happened with The Last of Us, and we see a date about Ghost of Tsushima as a August 1st title, which that is absolutely not going to be coming out until August 1st. It's probably much going to probably come out at the end of the year, or it's going to come out, if the PlayStation 5 comes out at the end of the year. So this is my point on this. I'm going to leave the link in the description with this article, but it it pretty much breaks down what what this that the situation could get to the point to where, especially in the Bloomberg report, that Sony might just wait until 2021 because you've already read the reports that they're not having that their supply is going to be probably shortened in 2020. Now, if they do come out in 2020 and they can't give all their consoles out to each region, then maybe by the time April, May of next year, they might have their they might meet their expectations. But if Sony is having these much issues, these problems, if they're with dates, price, and all these other things, they could actually push the PlayStation 5 back until 2021. And when I said this a couple of times, I said it on Twitter, I said this in a video, that this reminds me so much of the 360 and the PlayStation 3 generation, how it started, and then how Xbox had that leg up because they were cheaper for one, and then two, they started off early. If Xbox comes out early, which they've gave, which Phil Spencer has come out and he said, look, we're pretty confident that we're going to release the Series X uh, in the holiday season of this year of 2020. If they come out and they're priced accordingly, and and they definitely have the power narrative, it's not going to be a good look for Sony. So it might be beneficial for Sony to wait until 2021, maybe increase the specs and everything, and try to get the console to be an actually 10.3 teraflop machine instead of it being 9.2, and then what I'm saying, and overclocking it. So there, that way, and then price it accordingly. That way, you're still going to have PlayStation fans going to buy it. But by having this notion of just saying that, let's say that they both come out at the same time, they both come out in 2020. People know that the PlayStation is the lesser console, and if Xbox has the more powerful console, which they do, and and they're priced the same, that's still not going to be a good look for Sony. So the whole pricing thing, they're definitely waiting for what Microsoft is going to do, and Microsoft is just chilling, being more relaxed, being more confident, uh, making up for the mistakes that they did in 2013, while Sony is going through this whole turnaround. All the people that were there, from like Andrew House and Sean Layton and so forth and so forth, Yoshida being demoted, like I said, so forth and so forth. It's one of those things where they are definitely they're in flux. They got so much turnover going on. It was just like what Microsoft was going through at the time when all those rumors was going around, and they weren't saying anything. PlayStation is not saying anything, and it's very odd that they have not really tried to throw anything back at Microsoft like they normally do. Their different approach of how they're trying to do it and all this and that, I get it, but it's still very awkward. And there's not a PlayStation fan that can tell me otherwise, because this is just not, well, they're just waiting to snipe Microsoft. Microsoft is not even worried about the snipe. They're not worried about any type of feedback from Sony at this point. They're laser focused on what they're doing with their product, getting their product out, having the games ready, because I think when we see the reveal for both of these consoles, game wise, I don't think Microsoft is going to be holding back at all. I think Microsoft is going to just lay it down and just go balls to the wall. I think that they're really laser focused and have too. They're just too confident. They're just too confident to show the box and to the all the features and have everybody know about this box months in advance if they show anything in May, or if they go the traditional way in June and show something there, or if they do both. Regardless, they feel very focused. They seem very focused. You could see it and confident. Sony, on the other hand, they're too quiet. They're just absolutely too quiet. And this right here is, even, like I said, just making way more sense about what's going on with PlayStation right now, and especially by games that should be available. And if they take these games that were supposed to be slated for this year and hold them to combat against whatever Microsoft is going to be doing, then I think that that's a disservice to the PlayStation fan, because people paid pre-orders, they were excited for these games, and and they kind of did did something that I would expect them to do in the first place by putting Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2 as being PlayStation 5 titles. But to hold those games when you have advertised them for years to be on the PlayStation 4 and get people excited for them to come out this year, and you hold it until the end of the year or until sometime next year, that is absolute fail. I think Ghost of Tsushima will still be able to come out sometime this year, but The Last of Us, I have no idea what's going to happen with that. Sony has been very, very weird about this situation, but I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts. This basically is very interesting. Again, we're hearing a lot of. We won't know anything about the situation because I think that they'll be using the COVID-19 as a smoke screen. Not saying that to be disrespectful, but I just think that we'll never know the truth behind all the matters because the pandemic is a factor, but I don't think it's causing all of these factors. I think that there's a lot more situations going on ahead of time. The mass exodus from not only developers but from everybody from upper management, from the demotions, all of that. There's a lot of things going on with Sony, that we don't know, and we'll probably never know. So, want to hear your thoughts about this. Hope everybody stays safe. Everybody have a good one. Until the next video, peace.